Dear colleagues, I'm very happy to be with you again in the 11th edition of the scientific conference organized by doctoral schools of Tunaradeos, University of Galas. And I feel myself like the member of your family. So it's a very valuable conference for me. And it's a big honor to be here again with you. Um, I'm going to talk about social media related sexual abuse tonight. I would like to special thank to Dr. Monica Moraro for her kind invitation, and I would like to thank to organization committee as well. I'm going to talk about social media related sexual abuse today. Um, First ever internet message was sent from MIT in 1966 via ARPANET to the Professor Leonard Kleinrock's office in Stanford University. Tim Berners and his teammates were founded World Wide Web Protocol in CERN in 1989. Social media has begun to use immediately after discovery of the internet as a new and easier way of communication. Let's look to a summary of the history of the social media. In 1971, a first email was sent. In 1974, first data transferring between the users via BBS. In 1978, Usenet served first web browser samples. In 1979, first commercial online services, CompuServe the source. In 1994, first network of social websites, GeoCities. In 1995, Classmates.com was designed to find old classmates. In 1995, again, the Globe.com allows data sharing and communication of the related groups. In 1997, AOL released the first short message service, and the same year, 6degrees.com allowed to make profiles and a friend list. In 2001, Wikipedia was found. In 2003, MySpace, Friendster.com popularized. And the same year, LinkedIn, business-oriented social media networking becomes popular. It's a big year for social media because in 2004, Facebook was developed for communicate for Harvard students. And 2 years later, Twitter, and 2 years later, Facebook bought MySpace. And in 2010, Instagram application for photo and video sharing first discovered. And 1 year later, Google Plus was developed opponent to Facebook. And in the same year, Snapchat, and 3 years later, Foursquare is on the media. When we look at the classification of the social media, there are some social networks: Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, Friendster, High Five, FriendFeed, Offspring, Xing, and these are classified as social networks. And the other type of social media is blogs. Company blogs, Send, the Huffington Post, Boing Boing, TechCrunch, Kotter are the samples of the blogs. And there are some video sharing networks: YouTube, Dailymotion, Google Videos, Yahoo Videos, its own are the samples. And there are also some photo sharing networks: OneX, Flickr, DeviantArt, Photoset, Photo Community, Photobomb are the examples. Info sharing networks examples are Wikipedia and Intellipedia. And there are some microblogging sharing networks. The best example is Twitter. After the popularization of the social media, in clinics, we face some social media disorders. These diagnoses are very new for the clinicians. For example, in pornographia, the case of addiction to data, getting a psychosexual pleasure out of acquiring and pursuit of weird photo looking, the act of exploring the profile and photos of somebody you have little or no personal interaction with, ego surfing, periodically web searching to find references to him or herself. Hikikomori, someone who has withdrawn from all real-life social interaction except internet. Block disclosure, the action of making new or secret information known. YouTube narcissism, everyone must know me. Persistent video sharing on YouTube. MySpace mimicry, obsession to impersonate another person on the internet. Google followers, obsession to get information about people by searching Google. Hypochondria, when one becomes so obsessed with medical websites on the internet that they diagnose themselves with certain illnesses that more often than not they don't have. Wikipedialism, continuous writing something on Wikipedia. Cheese spotting, an individual who fills their iPod or MP3 players with songs they will quite obviously never listen to. And cyberbullying, damage someone or a group in a technical or relational style by using information and communication technologies. It's classified as two major groups as electronic bullying and e-communication bullying. Electronic bullying is hacked passwords and or other or websites send spam mails, viruses, etc. E-communicating bullying is sharing someone's personal information online as theft, cheating, sexual violence, etc. The increase in use of social media has reached incredible rates in recent years. Along with this increase, a rise in a number of cases of sexual assault by people who have met in social media is also remarkable. Our study is a retrospective sectional study from 2012 up to 2017. 69 sexually assaulted cases through social media who were admitted to our department, which is Mersin University Department of Forensic Medicine, are evaluated according to their social demographic features, types of the social media used, duration between social media contact and meeting, duration between social media contact and sexual assault, meeting places, according to the number of the assailants, the type of sexual assault, type of forcing methods of compliant, physical, genital, and laboratory findings, gynecological and psychiatric consultation results. The whole cases were female, surprisingly, and distribution of the cases by years are irregular. But the age is quite distinct because the average age was about 18 years old, and then 94% of the cases, the victim's age, of course, 94% of the cases, victim cases, were between 12 and 19 years old. The type of social media is Facebook, is because it's more popular. The second is Instagram. Duration between social media contact and the real meeting is quite irregular, but meeting within the first month is 57%. Meeting place is mostly outdoor, and the second place is indoor, but the outdoor places takes place, the street takes place the most common. When we look at the duration between social media contact and the sexual assault within the first 3 months is 62%. It's quite often. The number of the assailant is mostly one person. It takes place about 75%. And indoor places, it's opposite with the meeting places. The place of assault is mostly indoor. It takes about 77%. And the story of violence, threatening, and the drugs. Threatening by sexual messages with naked images, blackmailing, is in 7 cases. Verbal threat is present in 4 cases, and threatening by several guns in 4 cases. And you should consider the physical violence also. Physical violence should be estimated also, because in quarter there were physical violence. The drugs is not so common, but we have to consider the drug facilitated sexual abuse in social media related assaults is in 60%. The complaint mostly made by families, more than half. It takes 54% by the families. By the victim is just 4/4. The type of sexual assault is mostly vaginal sexual assault with 59%. Vaginal plus anal sexual assault is 12%. Anal is 12%. So there, in most cases, we can see a penetrated sexual assault. What we found in the vaginal examination, we found in 1/3 old laceration. Acute is just with 10%, but with intact hymen is the most common finding with 46%. And with these 34 cases of vaginal samples, we found in 9 cases we found positive for spermatozoa. Anal examination, we didn't find anything, as you guess, in 91% of the anal examination. And just we found in 4 cases we found spermatozoa. There were kidnapping and elopements in 13 cases, extortion in 5 cases, false promise of marriage is in 18 cases, which is a huge percent. Religious marriage ceremony in 3 cases, which is our local and regional thing that we criticize. We found a pregnancy in 3 cases, and in 3 cases we found sexually transmitted diseases with hepatitis B, in 1 case genital herpes, and in 1 case, unfortunately, HIV we detect. In 23 cases had psychiatric diagnosis. The most common diagnosis is post-traumatic stress disorder with 15 cases, and the second one is, with 8 cases, a depression. When we found the profile of the cases, all cases were female as a summary. Most of them were between 14 and 14 and 17 age. Most of them had first online contact via Facebook. More than half cases were met within the first month. First meeting place were outdoor, but they were assaulted indoor. Sexual assault within first 3 months is quite common with 62%. Assailants were mostly a single person in 75%. There were physical violence and or threat in about half. Threat matters are mostly sexual messages, naked images, verbal threats, and threatening by guns. Complaints were mostly made by the family. Most of the sexual assault were vaginal penetration. Vaginal findings were positive in half of them. Mostly there were no anal findings. False promise of marriage, elopements, religious marriage were also frequent. There were pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases, even HIV, as a result of sexual assault. Most of the cases were suffered permanent and severe psychiatric disorders. Most common is post-traumatic disorder and depression. We have some recommendations to avoid the victims from social media related sexual abuse. We recommend educational programs should be organized to the parents and children about the results and the rules of the private data sharing via internet. Awareness raising television programs should broadcast about the rules for internet and the cyber crimes. Free internet filtering programs should be provided by internet providers and or governmental organizations. Software to catch risky dialogues in terms of cybercrimes should be developed by internet security agencies by the respect to confidentiality of the personal data. Telephone lines should be set up for cybercrime victims. Thank you for your listening. See you next year. Bye for now.